When I arrived, I could have guessed that I would have heard exchanges as to mini stadia. And I want to say that government must not approach the problem of the youth or the problems of youth in this country as if mini stadia now represent the solution to that crisis that is occurring in the lives of that part of the population we call the youth. We come to today's debate on youth at a time of a different kind of death. The death of ambition, the death of aspiration among young people in this country. Your Honor, you are not unaware that we have, in Barbados, become aware of the unprecedented number of suicides among young people, and it is a social phenomenon, I beg your pardon, it's a social phenomenon that must not escape the attention of this country, and it must not escape the attention of the leaders of this country, and it certainly must not escape the attention of this ministry. Together with the tragic high incidence of suicide among young people is the tragic high incidence of emigration from Barbados. We are educating our young people. We are training our young people, our aspirational young people, up to the stage of tertiary education. Some of them going to jobs. Some of them, unfortunately, do not find jobs. And many of them now believe that their only hope exists in the verdant fields of Canada, particularly the whole of North America, England, and Europe, and even in some of the other countries of the Caribbean. And emigration, the flight of human capital, the brain drain, as we call it, is a crisis that is afflicting the lives of young people in this country. And we must ask the question, where is government's leadership in response to these crises that afflict the lives of young people? What has been government's participation in this age of suicidal death, in this age of the tragic flight of human capital away from this country, this loss of confidence, this loss of hope in the country that we told them is theirs? What has been government's response? What has been government's participation? Those of my generation can claim that we came up in a Barbados in which we were reasonably well protected by our public institutions, by our institutions of authority, the government, the church, the school. All of our institutions of authority tended to raise us in an environment in which we were told that moral substance was good substance. I regret to say to you, Your Honor, that this country has lost its moral compass under the charge of this.
A single bullet shattered the silence. A man lays dead in the road. A son, a brother, a father, a friend. This This is a heavy load. A single bullet shattered the silence. Now a dad is missing his son. With these bullet holes in each child's body, you can't help but let the tears run. We say Black Lives Matter, but you take out your own black brother. You did not consider the pain it will cause. A double action revolver, premeditated murder. You pulled the trigger, a precious life was lost. When will it end? It got to end. These ugly blood stains marking up we street. It got to end. It has to end. These brutal shootings of a young black man. It has to end. It got to end. Whoa. Ay, ay, yeah. A single bullet shattered the silence, killed the relationship between he and his mom, crushed upon, broke the heart as she held her dying son. Oh, a single bullet shattered the silence, snatched a man away from his children. This world is full of gun violence. Some young men are facing a tragic end. I say young lives matter. Gunshots cause neighbors to scatter. You did not consider the anguish it caused. Semi-automatic revolver. You cold-blooded murderer. Who pulled the trigger? A valued life was lost. When will it end? It got to end. These ugly blood stains marking up we street. It got to end. When will it end? These brutal shootings of a young black man. It has to end. It got to end. Oh, ah, yeah. A single bullet shattered the silence, pierced and ripped apart my soul. When I heard the devastating news, my whole body ran cold. A single bullet shattered the silence. This vicious blood spilling caused havoc and mayhem. This willful and selfish ending has a family in mourning. I say all lives matter. Let love be our only trigger. Let's rid ourselves of this gun disease. We all need each other to mentor our black brothers. Let's fire envy and jealousy urgently.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know if you're hearing me. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, okay. All righty. Oh, I am just seeing that. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Thank you all. Oh boy, and that's what everybody's been calling me. I was so focused on what I was saying, I didn't really realize. Thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we're in business now, and I was greeting everybody, is what I was doing, and letting you know that without you, there is no Marcy Week show like now. So thank you so much for letting me know what was going on. I was able to get it fixed, and we are on. We are on. We are on. Yes, 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 yes. And were you able to hear the songs? Were you hearing the song at the beginning? Okay, okay. So you were hearing the songs at the beginning when I came on that you couldn't hear me. Ah, thank you all so very much. Hi, good night. And I called out everybody's name. Sorry, I called out everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people's names as they were coming up on the screen. So I can't start over. Somebody says start over. Oh, um, yes. Okay. So Rosemary is saying that the songs were heard. Okay. So they said I'm to start over. Well, no, I can't. I can't start over the entire program at all. They will hear the songs at the beginning, and hopefully, people will know that there's not a problem, and they will continue on. But we can't start over. That is going to be too much of a problem. Okay, but thank you all so much, and I apologize to that. I was just saying that really and truly there is no Marcia Week show without you all, and it is so true. And you all were calling me, but because I was so focused, I was so focused on what I was saying to you that I didn't check my phone. Thank you all so very much. Oh Lord, I love you all. And I was saying to you that I'm going to see lots of you at the march, at that solemn walk. How many of you are going to be at the solemn walk? Let me see. Let me see. Wow, it was 17 minutes without sound? No, it's not 17 minutes without sound, Celia, at all. How many of you could you heard the song? We played a whole song for 5 minutes, and then we had something about the youth for another probably 5 minutes. I was speaking for about 2 minutes. So, yes. Wow, you had about 15 minutes of silence. 15 minutes. My goodness. Oh, wow. Really sorry about that. Ah, it was long. What? That was, but I can't start over. We can't start over. So let's go right in. I'm very sorry about that. I do not have my regular people here to help me. Wow, I am so sorry. So sorry about that. Okay. We're going to do the best that we can when the video is ended to see if we can edit just that beginning part. Okay. So really sorry about that. So let's go right into the national anthem. Let's stand for the national anthem. yes, the Lord has been the people's guide for past 300 years. With him still on the people's side, we have no doubts or fears. Yeah. And am I still muted? Am I still muted? People are telling me I'm muted. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, guys. What's happening to my sound tonight? Is anybody here? Yes, you can hear. Thank you, Tamika. You can hear me. The Lord has been the people's guide. The Lord has been the people's guide. And sometimes we see what is happening in Barbados. Thanks to everybody who's assuring me that they can hear me. We see all that is happening in Barbados and we start to worry. Some people are worried. Some people have lost hope, but I have not lost hope. Have you lost hope? No, 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 not at all. And that's why we are going to be on the road on Saturday. Saturday at 10 o'clock, Kensington, over right there where Massey Car Park was, Kensington Mall, right across the street there. We're going to assemble there. We're going to wear white, okay? White top or full white, but something white we're going to have. And we are going to have those placards with the names of the 33 young men who have, who have died over the year. We do have CG who is on here, and CG is going to be doing up the placards for us, and we are going to have those. And if I get the funding, I want a long piece of red cloth that we are going to have hanging from the back of the truck, and we are going to carry that cloth, people carrying that cloth on their shoulders all the way down. I want that visual imagery of the blood of our young men that is running in the streets of Barbados. The blood is still there, and we want to remember them, and we want to know what we want the families to know, that it matters. We need other young men to be able to look on and say, we don't want that to happen to us. Okay. So yes, for everybody, the men and the women, right? I believe there's one woman that was killed. And so this is a very, very serious issue here for Barbados. And we want to be out there on Saturday at 10 o'clock. Saturday at 10 o'clock. Tonight's show at 8 o'clock, Kemar Stewart is going to be on, and he's going to talk about the Barbados Water Authority. And he's going to be on at 8 o'clock tonight. And we also have the leader of Solutions Barbados, Grenville Phillips, will be on as well, talking about the issue of the crime. And I'm going to talk to him about the cybercrime bill as well. Yes. Liana is saying that she's going to be at work, but she's going to wear white. Now, that's an idea for those of you who can't come. And the only reason you can't come is that, listen, you are bedridden. You can't walk, right? You're bedridden. You can't walk. That should be the only reason that you're not out there. This is not a political walk. Okay? This is not a political march. The issue of crime and violence should not be a political issue at all. This is everybody. Everybody. We're going to have our young people. They're going to do their spoken word from the truck. They're going to sing. And we're going to call out the names of these young men. And we're going to say prayers. And we're going to sing. We're going to have us singing. Someone called today and said, Marcia, I would love for us to get some drummers there. And I told her, I said, you know what? We can have the drummers there, but it's going to cost us some money to get the drummers there. All right. Somebody is asking, does the marching and protesting actually work? Somebody's asking, or is it a complete waste of time and energy? What do you think, Diana Marquette? Have you ever been out there to march? Anybody? What do you all think? Do you think it's a waste of time? Do you think that the marching is a waste of time? When we are out there in our white and we have the names of the young men, our aim is to continue to bring the awareness of the seriousness of the issue, and also to say to the families that we remember them, and to humanize the guys who have died. So I happen to think that it helps. It really, really helps. I think so. I think that the reason we were able with the cybercrime bill, as much as they came back with more years, that we were able to get them to at least say they're going to take it to parliamentary review. And I guess you could ask the people who died in the 1937 riots. Diana, I'm not sure if you know about the 1937 riots. It is because of the 1937 riots why we have all the labor laws in Barbados. So I wouldn't say that it doesn't work, right? I wouldn't say that it doesn't work. You need that, and you need other things, right? Okay. And as Teroni says, March, it sends a message. So Diana, you asked the question. You asked the question? What do you think, Diana? Okay, so Diana says she understands the purpose, but she doesn't think it's work. Well, I guess to each its own. Would you say that the marches and the protests of Martin Luther King didn't work? It didn't work. Would you say that? Would you say that the protest of the lady who sat on the bus in the U.S., would you say that doesn't work? That didn't work? Do we still have black people sitting, not being able to ride the same bus as white people, or they can't sit or have to be on one side of the bus? Rosa Parks, that was a protest. It didn't work. As I said, the 1937 riots didn't work. Interesting. That so you probably could read up on those and see what what you see, what you think. Right, Rosa Parks. That was a protest. I'm sure that Black Americans will tell you that it did work for them. So you're gonna think, what about the Bussa riots? Yeah, you say, well, they captured Bussa and killed Bussa and everybody else, but all of that was the pressure. Pressure was put on the system. What about Wilberforce and all those others that led protests and so on, right? What do you suggest that we do? Probably, we can listen to her and see, um, and let's see if what else could we do? I wouldn't say not to march, but I would say that don't do it by itself, right? It has to be accompanied by other things, but you've got to have some activism here in this country. We don't really have a strong opposition. We have one person in the parliament who decided in the upper house, who decided to cross the floor, Mr. Ralph Thorne. And so and we have two persons in the lower house, in the Senate. And this is why it is so important that we always have the voice on the outside. The voice on the outside is very, very important to be able to strengthen the voice on the inside, because we don't have enough people in there. And this is why I say to people all the time, we are fighting the voices that we have on the inside. We're fighting Mr. Thorne. I will never fight Mr. Thorne. I'm going to support Mr. Thorne because that's the voice you have on the inside. It doesn't make any logical sense, you see, because we don't have enough. I mean, if there are 29 of them in there and he's only one, do you think that his vote is going to matter? Think about it. Would his vote ever really matter with 29 to 1? Will his vote matter? No. But then there are all of us on the outside, 280, almost 80,000 of us. So when we make a noise in there and he echoes that noise in there, they've got to listen. You see? And that's the whole idea, right? So when that's a good one, Donnie Calendar. Mia had a march. You remember that march that she did with the unions, and that's working till today. That is working until today. Those unions, everything is all. She's got everything all together with them unions, except Unity Workers Union, where Kazil Franklin is the leader. Yes. So you see what I mean. So yeah. So yes, yes, been the beautiful. I like what you say. We become the larger opposition. And I didn't plan to talk about this tonight, but before I go into what I want to address this segment, it is important that we understand how this thing works. And this is why people say, but why are you supporting Mr. Thorne? Why are you supporting He Crossed? And you're all excited because it gives us a voice on the inside. Okay, so we're here dealing with this cybercrime bill. They had a committee. So let's talk about the committee that they had. And on the committee was Mr. Thorne and and Senator Ryan Walters. Okay, but there were the only two, so they could vote on behalf of the people and say, no, 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 we don't want the bill to be. You're going to make the bill more draconian and make it 100 years. I mean, $100,000 or 10 years in prison. It's only two of them. It's only two. Everybody else is on the side of the government. Do you understand what's going on? That's why a show like this is so important. That's why the marches are so important. That is why you opening up your mouth and speaking out, so it's so important. That's why it's so important for you to write articles. Because they're going to be outnumbered, regardless of who is in there. I saw a post where someone is trying to say, because such and such a person is no longer in the Senate, you need to watch who is going to do who's going to be debating the cybercrime bill in the Senate, because right now it's already passed in the House. Right? It's already passed in the upper house. Okay? It is now that it's a Senate that we're now that it's a Senate that we have to now deal with. And so those two senators, they have to take the fight to them. But more importantly, because there are only two senators, right? But they're 21, and somebody can correct me, but I'm sure they're 21 senators. So they're 21, but there are only two opposition senators. Why are there only two opposition senators? Because that's how you voted. If Mr. Thorne had not crossed, let's talk about it, there would not have been two opposition senators. And that's why people like myself are happy that he crossed, and I will support him. Why would I not support him? That would make no sense not to support him. Right? There are two opposition senators to 21. This bill is now going to be debated, okay, in the Senate. That's what's going to happen. Do you think when they're ready to vote that the two senators could outvote the other 19? Right? It doesn't make sense. It's not going to happen. Whether it was the person who was there before and Ryan Walters, or these two male senators, it doesn't matter who is there. It's only two, and they only have two votes. And so those of you who come on to make mockery, you're making a mockery of your own self. It is saying that you don't understand what democracy is about. You don't understand it. You need opposition. That's right, Tamika. You need opposition. You need opposition. How would there be democracy if there's no opposition? It means that They could get up and do anything that they want to do. And we thank God for people. The Bajan people are standing up little by little and at least slowing down some things. You know how long this bill was supposed to be passed? This bill was supposed to be passed before World Cup. At least we are able to slow it down. That's correct, Tyrone. Yes. And that's why I say to Barbadians who are you who are talking about, oh, we're going to have another 30 love. It's not a domino game. It's not a domino game. And until this kind of legislation begins to hit your home and your family, then you realize why it is important to have a strong opposition. Yeah. And no, somebody say leave the clowns on the circus. No, we're going to try to educate. Always try to educate. Always try to to let others know, understand what is really happening and why we're doing what we're doing, because not everybody understands the importance of this. Do you understand? Now it's now $100,000 or 10 years in jail. This is very, very serious in terms of the cybercrime bill. And it is because we have a government, we have a government that is trying to push dictatorship. Now, I want to show you something. This is the Barbados that the Prime Minister, Mia Mottley, wants us to live in. I want to take a look at my screen. We're going to have a little chat tonight before Kimar comes on. And I'm going to use the Christchurch nomination to say something to Barbadians. If we would listen. If we would listen. Can we listen tonight? Listen. Stop the quarreling in the chat and listen. You might learn something. If every night you come to quarrel, how are you going to learn anything? So let's pause and let's and I'm going to go to my research. I'm going to do my research. Okay. Now, according to this article, okay, this article in Barbados Today. And let me move it up so that you can see. Let's get the date on this. This was the 4th of November. Okay. It says 4 Barbados Labour Party political hopefuls have thrown their hat in the ring to contest for the candidacy of Christchurch South. Barbados Today has learned. We have Senator Dr. Chantel Monroe. I'm sorry, this is April the 4th. Okay. April the 11th. Senator Dr. Chantel Monroe Knight, minister in the Prime Minister's office, is the highest profile name. So this is the highest profile name. Okay, listen, in the quartet, joined by Kurt Haynes, who is a personal assistant to the Minister of Health. Okay, so this guy here, this one here, he is Kurt Haynes. Then you have Justice of the Peace, Janelle Brown. And Janelle Brown is says he's a prophet. Okay. Well, that's his title. He goes by prophet. I shouldn't say it like that. So he goes by the title of a prophet. And he was the one who prophesied a lot of things about the BLP. So here it is. You also have this gentleman here, Rommel Paris. And he is a vice president of the Barbados Agricultural Society, Rommel Paris. Okay. So yeah, so these are the initially, right? these were the candidates for this nomination in Christchurch South to determine who is going to be the candidate for Christchurch South, because as we had said earlier, Ralph Thorne had crossed the floor, so they had to put someone there. Okay. And these are the ones they were contesting the elections. So this is supposed to be a democratic process. Follow what I'm saying. If you open your mind to this, open your mind. This is supposed to be a democratic process within the Barbados Labour Party. Why am I talking about this? Because what happens there mimics what happened in the larger population. How decisions are made. So it's an important one, because this other article that I have here, okay, let me try and share that one, tells us that a candidate, one of those candidates that they pulled out of the race. Okay, so let's look at that. It says here, this is Starcom Network reporting that Senator Dr. Chantal Monroe-Knight will be the Barbados Labour Party candidate in the Christchurch South constituency in the next general election. Senator Dr. Monroe-Knight, the Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, won the nomination by a landslide. Listen to this. When voting took place. So there was voting, but we're going to look at the conditions. Saturday at the St. Christopher Primary School. She beat challenger Christopher Allen by 135 votes to 5 with 3 spot votes. So there were 143 votes. Now, I gave you 3 names that were and 4 names that were vying for this in April. It was Kurt Haynes, Janelle Brown, Rommel Paris. There was no Christopher Allen there. The big question is, what happened to those other 3 men? Here is a 4th man. Here is a 4th man. And if you don't believe me, let me go back to this other one. Okay. So this is the tab here. Look at this one. This is it. You can read the bottom says from left, Senator Dr. Chantal Monroe-Knight, Kurt Haynes, Janelle Brown, and Rommel Paris. What happened to all 3? And how did this person that people hardly know who he is? I couldn't even find this picture online. He appeared in the whole thing. Christopher Allen, he works at a bank. I found that out. I have a little bio here on him. I had to get somebody in the BLP send me this information. Thank God for them. Yeah. Let me look for it in my phone. There are lots of things in this phone. Somebody said, Marcy, you better save the stuff. But this guy, Christopher L. Allen, is said to be a very nice guy, and he, did his little campaign. And he's a bank. He works at a bank and helps people with their mortgages and so on. But he wasn't in the official roundup. But these 3 here, one of them was asked to remove himself from the 31st of August. Was Christopher just introduced to make it look as though a race was happening? If he was campaigning all this time, he only got five votes? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If he had family, it's probably only the 5 that voted. Yeah? It must be the only 5 that voted his family. I want to propose to you that this was fixed. This was fixed. This was no democracy inside of the Barbados Labour Party. This was fixed. When I spoke to the people within the Barbados Labour Party this evening, I was told that the men were harassed to come out of the race. Fixed, Kim. Fixed. And I want Barbados to take note of what I'm saying to you this evening, because this has happened in the Barbados Labour Party. Don't fool yourself that this is not what actually happens in the way Barbados is run. This was no democracy in the Barbados Labour Party, and this is how the Prime Minister runs Barbados. It is what she says. Let's go back to the article. It says here in the last paragraph of the article on Starcom, Kurt Haynes, who had been one of the contenders, expected to pose a challenge to Senator Dr. Monroe Knight. I didn't say it. Starcom saying it. Withdrew from the race 2 weeks ago. Kurt Haynes. You remember Kurt Haynes? Kurt Haynes is the personal assistant to Jerome Walcott, the Minister of Health. He was one of those contenders expected to pose a challenge to Senator Dr. Monroe Knight. And he withdrew from the race 2 weeks ago. And guess what? Guess what? And another candidate withdrew from the race last night. When was this thing? August 31st. And I have remember I told you, and I read from it, and I'm going to read it from it again, coming from the other candidate. So you will know. You will know who that other candidate is. So all of this here was fixed. Fixed. This is what Prime Minister Mia Mottley does. This is what this despotic leader does. She does not believe in democracy. Prime Minister Mia Mottley does not believe in democracy. In her own party, she harassed the people in there, all those candidates. And they had to leave, they had to drop out. They had to drop out. Yeah? Listen to me, folks. Listen, I want us Barbados to listen. use your common sense. I was thinking about this today. I was there and I was thinking about this today. And I was saying to myself, wow. So this is what really goes on. Her word. Nothing else but her word. Correct, Janetha said, just how she pushed out John King from St. Philip West to let the Joker, to let McCartney run. It's the same thing. It is the same thing that is happening. Okay? But some of us, we don't want to think. We don't want to use our common sense. We don't want to focus on the information that is right there in front of us. This woman believes that what she says must go. She runs her party the same way as she runs the country. Do you understand? It is this under the same administration that we have this draconian cybercrime bill. The same kind of dictatorship. She runs it as it's her own thing. So she gets rid of all of these three men to put in this woman. And Christopher Allen, I don't know, this poor wonderful man. Well, who is he? That came in the last minute and had 5 votes. And it comes in the newspaper. Monroe Knight won landslide. Now, what I'm hearing from the people within the BLP is that, yeah, you know what? Everybody knew she wasn't really liked. She wasn't going to win. They thought that one of these men here that was going to win. That's why they asked them the night before to drop out. Yeah. So let me just read this again for those of you. I want Barbadians to think. I want you to put on your thinking cap, and I want you to really think about what has occurred last weekend in Christchurch South. Think about it. This is the same prime minister. I was told that these men were harassed to get out of the race. (6:10 p.m.) You withdraw. I'm reading the message. Why? 6:11 p.m. 6:16. One of these men replied, the PM asked me to. Cause she was scared I would win. She was scared I won. Because the election was going on. Because she was scared I won. And the person says, you're full of SHIT at 6:26. 6:35, the person said, one of these men answered, nope. Oh, they said, you get a promise. The person said, I'm going back to marketing on Monday. To do what? Community liaison officer. The person says, okay, yeah. And that's when they mention Patrick King. And if I were you, all 900 of you on here, never listen to anything from Patrick King again. No integrity. The person asked, Patrick King done? The person said, one of these men here said, I don't know. He says, mine is an appointment. Them got a contract. Right? Inferring that Patrick King got a contract. Oh, okay. Grade 6. Salary $6,133.08 and 500 travel. I read it last night, but as I meditated on it today, I wanted you to see the seriousness of what we are dealing with here in Barbados. I wanted you to be aware of how serious this thing is. Barbados? Barbados? Yes, Cami. All we've got to do, we're adults and we're intelligent people in Barbados. I want you to take it in slow tonight. There was no democracy that happened in Christchurch South for that nomination in Christchurch South. There was no nomination. There was a declaration of the person that the Prime Minister wanted. There was no nomination. There was no election. That was not an election that occurred. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? This is your Prime Minister. Yes, Kim. Folks, this has nothing to do with party. Even if, regardless of the party, can you stop and think tonight what really happened? I read to you from the newspaper and I read to you from my phone, the WhatsApp message. There was no democracy that happened in the Barbados Labour Party. And it's not that these candidates are happy. If they did the work and they thought that they were going to win, why could they contest it? Why? I asked the person that I was speaking with today from the Barbados Labour Party, but why couldn't these men contest it? What was wrong with them? What should the men in Barbados now say? Right? That she hates the men then? Because all these men were removed to place a woman. This woman was handpicked and given a job and under the charade and the parade of a nomination. Oh, yes. There you go. There you go, CD. CD, come to the front of the class. Because the Prime Minister has the media in her pocket. I just went and read that on Starcom, and you're going to tell me that there's nobody in the media can read that? Starcom put it out, but nobody go fishing to find the information. All I did was just few calls. A few calls, and can come to tell you that this election was a sham. Do you understand? This is what happens here. But no, all these men were removed to make sure this woman got the job. And we don't hear a peep from anybody. Because men don't matter. Men don't matter. And I see Kimar there. And Kimar, just give me 3 minutes more. I want us to stop Barbadians. We're too intelligent for this. This is a microcosm of what is happening in the nation. Dictatorship. What happens in China? What happens in China and those places where there's a dictator? What happens? No elections. The elections are rigged to make sure that the leader gets what they want. That is what has happened here right there in the BLP. But they spent all the time looking over at other people and not on themselves. But this is what really sums it all up, really. Before Kimar is here, before he comes to us, listen.
You know, in the name of my children and my grandchild, I want to live in a country where there's freedom of expression. I want to live in a country where no despot can feel that they should hold the destiny of my children and my grandchild in their hands. And that Mayor Motley is a menace. She's a menace because she's a despot. She's a menace because she's a despot, believes that she has a right to be a despot. She would try to be a despot with me. And I want to end by saying this. My parents sent me to school so that I should not be a boy in the yard for any despot in this country. And I will be true to them and true to my children by fighting this despotism that is taking.
Yes. Good night. Can you hear? Could you have heard that video? Somebody messaged me that they could not hear a word. Okay, some people are hearing. Anika, let me know if you could hear me. People are saying they can't hear a word. Okay, so you're hearing. Yes, you're hearing everything. He's speaking from the grave. And I listened to him. I almost wanted to cry because we did not listen to him. Everything he's saying right now, we are living it. We are living everything that he said right there. And you know what? The last thing before Kimar comes, let me put him in the studio. The last thing I want to say. The last thing I want to say to us is that there were 145 votes. 3 were spoiled. 135 they claim for Miss Chantal Monroe Knight, and 5 for this person that nobody knew, Christopher Allen. 143 persons. Anybody can tell me how many persons are in the constituency in Christchurch South? How many persons? They said that it was a landslide victory. Okay? A landslide victory of this mock-up fake election. Okay? The question is, how many persons? How many persons you think are in the constituency? I want Kimar to come on, so I will just let you know. Over 8,000. Over 8,000. I ponder on that. Over 8,000 persons are in that constituency. Okay? And 143 persons voted. And what I was told by the BLP people told me the people were not interested. It's telling us something. It's telling us something. 143. Do you hear any media house talking about this? Have you heard any media house speaking about this? No. They're not interested. But we're going to come back to this as the night goes on. We at 9 to 11, 9 to 10, 9 to 11, at 9 o'clock tonight, 9 to 10 is a time for you to call in, and we will talk about this some more. Write down what you want to say, make a note of it, and if you want to speak on this, because I want us to really take it easy tonight and look at this particular issue here, because I tell you, it's a microcosm of what is happening in the bigger space in the country of how Mia Motley runs Barbados. Do you understand? Yeah. So, but we have a very, 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 very special person here tonight. Listen, you better start sharing. You better start liking. The man that taught us all about the Jobby water. You remember that? The man who told us all about hope in St. John. Huh? Right? You remember Hope Project? The man who brought us Hope Project. The man who brought us the Jobby water. You remember that man? The man who told us about all of East Coast selling out, where I had to say, listen, you show me the proof before you come back on here, right? Yes, and all the other things. He's an author. He's an author of the book Alternate Views that I have a copy. I hope you have a copy. I hope you have a copy of Alternate Views. Actually, we advertise it on my website, themarciaweekshow.com. If you go there, you will be able to purchase a copy of Kimar's book. He's a host of Alternate Views, and he is, I'm told, the research officer at the leader of the opposition office right there in town. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show, Kimar Stewart. Unmute.
Good night. Good night. Can you hear me clearly?
We can't hear you. Can you hear him?
Yeah, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we're hearing you now. Welcome, Kimar.
Yes. Thank you for having me back on the show. I am very glad to be here. I missed you guys on the program, but nevertheless, I am back here tonight. Yeah, I have it on a Monday. So thank you for
Yes.
having me.
Yes, so we will let the people know that Kimar has said to me that he will be on Mondays, okay? As you know, he has given that service to the country for almost a year. He comes on here, does his research, and he would share it here on the program. And so Kimar will be with us on the Marcia Week Show on Mondays, okay? On Mondays. So make sure you tune in on Mondays to hear Kimar. Caswell is on Sundays and Fridays, right? Sundays and Fridays is Caswell, and Kimar on Mondays. All right, folks? And these are men who have given so much service to Barbados, and we want to acknowledge their contribution to this opposition. Go ahead, Kimar.
Yeah, well, good night again to all of the patron, loyal opposition. It's very good to be back. Tonight, what I came to discuss, right, is merely about what happened or what is happening at the Barbados Water Authority, right? The Barbados Water Authority. So you guys saw the news over I think it was not the weekend, but just before the weekend, where it says that the general manager of the Barbados Water Authority, right? The Barbados Water Authority has stepped up. So it is saying in the public that the general manager of the Barbados Water Authority has stepped down. So I want to show you guys uh, a clip here. And we've been speaking about this for quite a while. I've been beating this drum for months on and months on, letting the people of Barbados know exactly what was going on in terms of the Ministry of Water Resources. So no, it has gotten to the point now where the general manager, Marcia,
Yes.
as we call him, Mr. Halliday, has left Barbados to go to Trinidad.
Oh,
Right?
really?
Yeah, yeah. So you remember I spoke on your program previously about a company in Trinidad called WASA,
Yes. Uh-huh.
Water and Sewage Authority. Now he
Yes.
has left the Barbados Water Authority, and he is going on to be the CEO, manager, the head of WASA in Trinidad, right? So what is interesting is that I made the prediction that Barbados will soon be, or our water authority will soon be transferred into an entity similar to WASA in Trinidad, right? So this is the beginner stages of that so-called transformation or so-called switch, right? And Halliday said it for himself, right? Halliday said it for himself that the one of the reasons why he left is because the water authority is on the cusp of a transformation. So that is fancy language for, they're about to make some changes and he's not in agreement, so he is out of there. Right? So as you can see here on the screen, right? As you can see here on the screen, you can see Halliday right here. It says that Kefroy Halliday set to become new WASA CEO, right? And you can see this picture here, and it says, "Come on, screen, screen won't move on my." Right, again, a little bit of a challenge there. So, but it says Kefroy Halliday set to become new WASA CEO, right? And it went on to say he wanted his particular statement, right? It says that the BWA chief to step down after a 7-year tenure, right? He's supposed to step down after a 7-year tenure. And it says, careful, hear my language carefully. It says the acting chief executive officer, and note that term, acting chief executive officer of the Barbados Water Authority has announced his the state-owned enterprise after 7 years at the helm that spanned two administrations. So he was hired under the last Democratic Labour Party administration, and he's one of the last few surviving Mohicans, Marcia, meaning that he was hired under the Dems and he last to some point under this administration, not like the others who held senior positions who were fired. Like, so the lady who was the CEO of the Tourism Authority, Petra Roach, she
Yes.
didn't make it. CEO of the hospital, that's the James, he didn't make it,
Correct.
right? Along with many of the other high-level CEOs who were strategically removed from positions of authority because the government wanted their man or their woman in these positions, right? So in the case of the hospital, we know that the wife of a minister got that job, right, at the hospital, ran the
Mm-hmm.
hospital into the ground, and of course they had to go overseas to hire a new CEO, somewhat, somebody from
Yes.
over and abroad. Right. So what happened here with Mr. Halliday should be no surprise and should be no shock, especially to the loyal opposition, because we were speaking about this since last year. Right?
Mm.
We were speaking about this. So the piece of legislation, right? The piece of legislation that we should all be concerned about here, Marcia, is the
Mm-hmm.
Barbados Water Authority Amendment Act of 2023, which was passed by the Deputy Prime Minister, who was Minister of Water Resources, who was Santia Bradshaw,
Yes.
right? So in the same piece of legislation in which they would have uh brought about this land zone policy, I want to try to get it here, the land zone policy, There were over
Okay, if
20.
you want, you can send it to Dave, WhatsApp, and let's see if he can put it up for you.
Yeah, but that was just my screen. But I think I could get it up
You're
and
fine
running
now.
from
Okay,
here.
go right ahead.
Yeah, right. So let me know if you can see it now. But it says here the a bill entitled to amend the Barbados Water Authority Act enacted by the Parliament of Barbados as follows. Right. And it says that this act may be cited as the Barbados Water Authority Amendment Act. So we're going to scroll down, and as you can see, this is the same Joby Water legislation, or the
Mm-hmm.
basis of that legislation, because as you can see here, basic definition says aquifer. Here's the definition for aquifer, groundwater, but that is not our focus tonight. Our
Right.
focus tonight is how they strategically removed, fired, got rid of, shift one side, whatever you want to call it, how they strategically sidestep Keith Roy Holiday, causing him to look for better opportunities. So,
Wow.
as I said earlier, Mr. Holiday was hired in February.
Mm-hmm.
The tape was around February 15th, 2017. Stand to be
Yeah.
corrected.
Mm-hmm.
And he was given the post of general manager of the Barbados Water Authority, right?
Right. So that is
General manager.
2017, February 15th.
Yes. He
Mm-hmm.
was given the post of general manager.
Yes.
Now, this piece of legislation, be it the Barbados Water Authority Amendment Act, again, remember, Santia Bradshaw being the minister at the time, who she
Mm-hmm.
was then fired. Now I know the prime minister has responsibility for water authority. So him having the post of general manager, I saw a big news article come out saying the acting chief executive officer of water authority. Now, if I know it well, and many persons out there who know it well, know that there was no such thing. There's no such post, right? There's a
Mm.
general manager. But because of this piece of legislation, as you can see it right here,
Yes.
I'm zooming it in, it says Section 9 of the Principal Act is deleted and the following substituted. And it says that it speaks to the appointment of a chief executive officer, right? And
Mm.
it says that the board, with the approval of the minister, appoint a person to be the chief executive officer of the authority, who shall be an employee of the authority. And the chief executive officer is subject to the directions of the board and
Mm-hmm.
is responsible to the board for the execution and management of the affairs of
The
the
authority.
authority.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, why is that important? Now, I keep preaching in alternate views, especially that the Barbados Water Authority is set to be privatized
Yes.
under this IMF program, right? So it was supposed to happen under the first BERT program, and now it's set to happen under the IMF RST, or Resilience and Sustainability Trust program. This is
Mm-hmm.
BERT 2, basically, right? And the government promised in the second IMF program to continue the transformation of state-owned enterprises, right? So what the creation of this post did, which is the chief executive officer, was to make the post of general manager redundant.
Mm-hmm.
So by that alone, Halliday's old job, right? Halliday's old job became redundant. So he didn't have the post of general manager anymore. So he didn't have a job, period.
Ah,
Right?
interesting.
He didn't have a job, period. So what they did, right, was to give him a temporary contract in which he had to renew. I don't know if this is the fact here, but it said he had to renew it every month or every couple of months or whatever. But they gave him a temporary contract, or the board gave him a temporary contract in which he had to renew, but he was never ever given the job of chief executive officer. Never.
So he was the acting chief.
He was the acting chief, but he was never the
Never the
actual
chief.
chief.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. And they removed the title as of general manager and created the chief executive officer.
Yes, yes. So it it was a temporary hire. Right? So that post now is open to serious political manipulation. Right? Serious political interference, serious political duress and force, as he
How
was
is
now
that?
served.
Can you explain how?
Well, I'm gonna get there to that point,
Okay.
right? But I just want to make the assertions first.
Yes.
Right? So I made that point because he was serving at the pleasure of the board, right? Temporary contract, and the Minister of Water Resources, which is the Prime Minister, has the authority to hire and fire boards, right? Ministers appoint boards, right? So if you can remember, Marcia, the board at Water Authority, they had about 3 or 4 boards already. Entire boards were resigning at Water Authority, and we have all of the facts. Right? Boards were resigning. You had the chairman who was Leodine Worrell, right? Resigning.
Hmm.
Let me just try to get it here that you can see. Because the pictures make it more vivid. But you had
Yes.
boards resigning from Water Authority, right? And the minister, meaning which is the prime minister now, right? Uh, has the authority to appoint those boards. So the position of CEO, you're essentially a creature of the board, and the board is a creature of the minister.
Mm. So Kimar, this is very much like what Caswell was saying happened with the NIS.
Basically,
The same thing because everybody now has this board. Very interesting. Wow.
ah, all right, I have it here. So it says here, this is an article from 2022 December, right? And it says new slate. It's entitled new slate. So it says there has been a shakeup of the board at the Barbados Water Authority, and a new one is expected to be named soon. Barbados today investigations indicate that the board was replaced by cabinet last Thursday, and a source close to the situation told Barbados today that an email was circulated on the 20th of December 2022 indicating that the board, formerly chaired by Stephen Roberts, has been dissolved. However, the source said that by time almost the entire board had resigned, and 2 insurance executives are tipped to lead the new board. David Wright, a director of Sagicor Life, is reported to become the new chairman, while Dodridge Miller, president and chief executive officer of Sagicor, is said to have been chosen for the position of deputy chairman. Roberts, who succeeded Leodine Worrell as chairman, tendered his resignation 2 weeks ago, and he had been installed as chairman under former Transport and Works and Water Resources Minister Ian Gooden Edgell, and the other members of the former board were Deputy Chairman Sir Alan Field, who is reported to have resigned several months ago, Natasha Small, Stephen Savory, Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Labour Party, Pat Paris, Permanent, Sec- Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Transport and Works, Mark Cummings, Chief Agriculture Officer Keely Holder, Stephen Dial, Shakira Holder, and Attorney at Law Shadia Simpson. And the Shaker at BWA Camps Ahmed reports that the same companies were continuously being awarded project contracts by the Water Authority, right? And it said that the source who spoke to Barbados today refuted any suggestions that the board had been unfair in its awarding of contracts. So this, yeah. It said that the source said that the board had followed the law to the T, and the tendering committee follow the public process of the T. But if the same companies are tendering for the contracts, what are you going to do? And that is basically the excuse that they give, right? So there you have it, Marcia. Boards resigning,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is a board that has been given the authority to hire and fire a chief executive officer, right? Okay. So they, apart from making his post redundant and creating another post called chief executive officer, they created an additional post which is called the chief operations officer. That is an
Mm-hmm.
additional expense now, and this person directly is hired by the board to run the operations of the water authority. And again, the board is a creature of the minister. And ironically, right now, the minister is the prime minister,
He's the prime minister. You know what would be
right?
great, Kimar, is if we could get created, and once I get the information, we can get it done. All of these different ministries, and to create, to put what we just said, to put it in graphic form, and let people see what's happening, and the power, and the kind of corruption that is really happening with power in this country, where she is sitting on top of all these boards, basically turning them, But go ahead.
Yeah. So to solidify the claims that I've been making, right? I am coming down to a specific section, and this section now speaks to the directions of the minister, right? The directions of the minister, and you will see clearly where the corruption and why this specific act they snuck it through the parliament. Because remember, I said that the deputy prime minister at the time, which was Santia, actually snuck out to Barbados. This was the same Joby Water legislation. They left
Mhm.
Barbados quietly, went up to the Netherlands, and they came back with this, right?
Yes,
So so he was fired since 2023, right? He was fired
essentially.
since
Yeah,
yeah,
essentially. Hmm.
yeah, right. So it says here now, you can see section 26 of the principal act is deleted and the following substituted. Directions of minister. The minister may, after consultation with the chairman of the board, appoint under paragraph 12, paragraph 1, section 2 of the first schedule, give to the board directions of a general or specific nature relating to the policy to be followed by the board, and in the performance of the functions of the authority, the board shall give effect to those directions. So you see the link that I was painting. Like,
Yes.
and the minister may give directions of a general or specific nature relating to the policy to be followed with respect to matters relating to the functions of the committee and the relief board, and the committee and the relief board shall give effect to those directions. So you see here, Marcia, strategically how the minister, which is the minister of water resources, which is ironically the prime minister, how the minister would, after consultation with the chairman and the board, which is basically they're telling the chairman what to do, because a minister could hire and fire the board as they wish. Boards
Hmm.
resign, they change, right? So Mr. Halliday was
Yeah.
essentially a victim, Marcia, of political strategy, as he was strategically usurped and obtained out of his position, right? And his job made redundant. And he was quoted as saying that we are on the cusp of a welcome transformation. But the only transformation happening is the privatization of the Barbados Water Authority. So that, along with the fact that the Joby water plants are set to come in place, along with the fact that billions of dollars of climate change through the Green Climate Fund and the Blue Green Bank, the Water Authority has been chosen as the entity specifically in
Hmm.
which all of this money is going to be channeled. And let's not forget, right, that Mr. Halliday said in a newspaper article that he was using the garbage and sewage tax to run the water authority. Like, he was using the garbage and sewage tax
Yes.
unbeknown to the Minister of Water Resources, unbeknown to the Minister of Finance. And his logic was that, well, the government is not giving him the subvention from the central government, and water authority needs to run, and they had to spend the money to do what they had to do to run the affairs of the water authority. So it shows you, right? It shows you how water authority was allowed to function as
Yes.
is, right? A institution that has not produced financial statements for umpteen years. So how can we ever know how much the garbage and sewage tax has ever made in this country? And if you go by what Dr. Clay Maskell was saying, right? If you go by what Dr. Clay Maskell was saying, he said that the garbage and sewage tax makes roughly $80 million a month.
Although he did go back and they did say that was a mistake he made.
Maskell didn't say he was a mistake. John Mwanza said that Maskell made a mistake. But until Maskell comes back and correct the record, because that's Maskell's professional credibility, right? I can't take John Mwanza's word for it, because John Mwanza has twisted the truth in many different ways publicly, especially when it came to debates about this Chubby water plant and then putting it back in the aquifers. I know you're hearing it from them openly that they intend to recharge the aquifers with this water. The Prime Minister said it, right? This weekend at the Christchurch South nomination, right? I sorry I couldn't get the video. I didn't have enough time to screenshot it. But she actually responded to the claims about this sewage outfall, right? Again, water authority again, Marcia.
Mm.
Water authority again. She said that they had to build the two outfalls at 8 inch. It's an 8 inch main and a 12 inch main, and they had to do all of this work. And Wilfred was doing this and Wilfred did that, but she spoke about everything in the video except for the $86 million,
Mm.
right? Except for the $86 million, in which they were to build a brand new permanent outfall, not a temporary one like what they did there. So no sewage, no permanent outfalls, still a temporary one that bursts,
Mm-hmm.
right? Still a temporary one that bursts, but the $86 million gone completely. Again, Barbados Water Authority, and she said nothing about that $86 million and how it disappeared. And we only have still a old temporary outfall when we should have a permanent one. And all the records and the files were there to show. And she spoke all around the point and did not say what happened to the $86 million. And again, Marcia, Barbados Water Authority.
Mm. Wow. Wow. And I'm hoping that people are what I've been saying to them tonight, Kimar, is to listen. Because Barbadians are intelligent people. Listen and read for yourself. Because the journalists, they're not coming to our aid. Thank God for people like Kimar. The journalists not coming to our aid. So listen so that you can actually learn something and know exactly what is going on. Carry on, Kimar.
Yes.
We have
So,
another, I would say another probably 7 minutes.
yes. So, if you remember the video that I did making allegations about water, I remember the Prime Minister took a launch in me, a turn in me, where
Yes.
she said that I was playing fast and loose with the
Mm-hmm.
information, and all types of well things she said about me. But
Yes.
every claim that I've made about the Barbados Water Authority, I was able to back it up. So I will leave them with this. I am firmly stating here that the polarization and the politicization of the public service, right? And particularly with this latest amendment to the Barbados Water Authority Act, strategically removed and fired in a technical way. Mr. Halliday gave the man a temporary contract, that he had to constantly renew,
Mm-hmm.
refused to give him the job of actual CEO,
Yeah.
right? And not giving the man a title of acting CEO when there is no such thing. He should have been interviewed and open the floor to applicants, but he should have been interviewed and possibly given the opportunity to become the first actual CEO of the
Mm-hmm.
water authority. But no, they strategically fired him, hang him out to sea. He had no job security, and these new, as I read the amendments for you, Marcia,
Mm-hmm.
these new changes to the legislation essentially puts the Minister of Water Resources, which is the Prime Minister, directly in control of the Chief Executive Officer of the Water Authority. So if you don't do what the Minister or the Prime Minister, whatever, if you don't do what they want to see, or you have a political job, right?
Correct.
So they're going to fire you. So this over force and duress and control over the position of chief executive, they couldn't do it under the old arrangement. So that is why they made his post redundant and they fired him. Right? So I challenge any of them to come and disavow or deny any of the strong claims that I made here tonight about Mr. Halliday's position. I know we've lost him over to Wassa
Trinidad. Yeah.
in Trinidad.
Wow. Kimar, as you were saying that this man should have been interviewed if it's going to be fair, and given a chance, but no, as you said, he was given no job security because he was not put on contract, right? And that had to be renewed ever so often. I mean, it's debatable how often it was, but the point is that this is the way that they are seeking to go. And just before you came on, I was talking about how this prime minister has her hand in everything, including the Barbados Water Authority and all the different. We had, how much did we? It was 9 ministries, Kimar, about 9 ministries that she's over. And if they're all set up like this, it would mean then that everything stops at the prime minister of this country. Over 9 ministries. It's either 7 or 9. I don't know. I remember that it changed, right? And look at what happened in Christchurch, where a hand has to be in that election to determine how is it supposed to go. The hand in the Barbados Water Authority, right? And everything really, Kimar.
Yes, the minister of everything. Right? We strategically
Somehow
pay
you've
take
gone
on.
a little low. You've gone a little low.
Right, how clear now?
Yes, Sarah.
Right. Right.
Right. We have
Remember,
2 more minutes, and then you can hang around if when we have the call in. Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
Right. If you remember, we actually wrote out, as you said, a list of all of the ministries, and it shows how she strategically controls all of the larger ministries in terms of budget, in terms of
Budget.
putting, yeah,
This one is something. I was wondering if you were going to say it because you were saying that we're getting a whole lot of money is coming through the is it the blue economy or something going to the water authority, and my girl switch it up and make sure she's over it.
yeah,
Barbados,
yeah,
Barbados.
yeah. So these $600 million that I think I watched a video with Kerry Simmons, in his usual obnoxious rants, say that this was when the opposition leader had left. He said, "Well, you left too early. You left too early. We're going to spend $600 million at the South Coast Sewage Plant in your constituency, and you missed out on that development for. It's not really for him. The Prime Minister put herself right in the flow of the money, right in it. So As she said, all big words come through me.
Come through her. Yeah, but
Right.
we're
So
going to discuss this a little further. We have Grenville Phillips who is in with us. And so we're going to take the next 15 minutes and have a good chat with him. Let me make sure that he's ready before I put him in the studio. But Kimar, as Grenville is getting ready, I'm hoping he's ready. I said, give me a thumbs up. I can't see your face, Grenville. No light is there. Okay. I want to say, Kimar, this is excellent. Again, very excellent work. Please stick around. Afterwards, we're going to chat about it. If you, I think Kimar answered that question, Kim, but hold it. If you think it wasn't answered, hold on. And those of you get ready with your comments and questions at for us, and we're going to do that about 9:10 this evening. Okay, not exactly 9 but 9:10, and you're to call 246-236-7000 on any of the topics we talk about, or whatever comment that you have, about anything. The cybercrime bill, we're going to chat about that. I especially want you to call in about that. And Kim, let's see if we can answer that question at that time. All right. Wonderful. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kimar. Thank you. Grenville, Mr. Grenville Phillips. Good night, sir.
Yes, good night. I'm not sure if you can see me now.
Yes, I'm seeing you. But
Okay.
I'm hearing that there's a noise. I don't know if is your fan or something is making a buzzing noise.
Right. I am driving at the moment, but I should be home in about a minute or so.
All right,
And
no
then I will turn
problem.
off the car then. So at least you won't get that.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for the sacrifice of coming on. As you know, I've been trying to get you a long time. So I'm
Okay.
glad that you have joined. Well, everybody, this I've been telling you, and you've been asking me, where is Grenville Phillips? We're reading his podcast, or his what do you call that? It's his articles, difficult conversations. But we want to see him. We want to hear from him. And so he is here with us tonight for a couple minutes. And I ask you to come on to Mr. Phillips to talk to us about what's happening in the nation. We're seeing a lot of our young men are being killed. Some would say they're killing each other.
Yes.
The year started, and January to now, we've had 33 murders, homicides, 33. And you're a leader of a political party in Barbados. And as far as I'm concerned, you make up that opposition voice. I want to hear, what are your thoughts about what is this issue that is going on, which is really not even a political issue. It is a national issue that affects all of us. So what are your thoughts about what's going on?
Yes, the deaths are very concerning. This is not like some terminal disease, right? I'll be parking in a few seconds, but this is not some terminal disease that someone has, and therefore they have a opportunity to really seek the Lord. Yes, you turn off this here. Yeah, so they have a chance to seek the Lord and repent of their sins. They just go straight, right? That's the end.
Yes.
That's the end. That's the end of it. For they're out of the game. So tragic, and now we are getting collateral damage as well. I remember decades ago, before the Erskine Sandiford administration, that the then Attorney General, when asked to comment on all of these deaths, he was saying, really, it's the gang people killing each other, as if that it's okay. these are our fellow Barbadians, our brothers and sisters in humanity. And the idea is, well, it's just gang people killing off each other. That is not the best response. So Solutions Barbados' opinion on this is that it is solvable. And we put together the solution for it, and hoping that wait a minute, just a minute. All right, I'll come in later. Hold on. Yeah, so someone coming in to let me in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hoping that someone will listen.
Yes.
You know, really hoping that the political director at the time will listen. Here we have a solution to this. Even before Solutions was formed, trying to talk to the government and say, listen, you know, this thing doesn't have to be like this. But they won't listen. So we formed a political party and said, all right, we have a political party now. Can you please listen? And they still wouldn't listen. We ran in the election, and they still wouldn't listen. At the end of the election, when I gave a concession speech, I remember Liz Thompson said, all right, Grenville Phillips will be heard. He will be heard. That was 2018. Still waiting. Still waiting. So what's the solution to all of this here? We know that the DLP has no solution. They have no solution. They've been, when they had a chance, the murders continued to go, and they wouldn't listen to any reason. The current administration, again, they are not listening. So the root cause of all of this is our educational system. That's the root cause. The students, what the students at 15 or 16 want, when they're ready to leave school, what do they want? They want money.
Yes.
They want to know that they can leave school and earn a living, to pay bills in the house, you know, to give the mother something. If they got some children, because these youths, you know, engaging in behavior that they got children around the place, they have to go and look for money for the mother of their children. But they want money. That's what they want. They want to know that they are men, and the women that they're women that they can earn without being prostitutes. So they go to school, and then they come out, and many of them, if not most, come out with no evidence of having attended, no certificate evidence. They come out not confident that they can earn income. So the idea is change the curriculum so that you're teaching in a manner that everybody understands, and making sure that everybody gets the parts of the subject that can make them money. When I went to Commerce School in 1975, my art teacher was Mr. Timothy Callender, who, you're in the arts, so you may know of him, but a brilliant teacher. And what he taught us was how to make posters.
Yes.
And we'll be there in the class making these posters, you know, grand dance, and the date of the dance, the venue of the dance, using the right lettering, using different colors, and different lettering for different parts of it, and explaining who to contact and a contact number, making signs and making posters, so that if someone in the village has a dance, they can come to us. And the student can go and make the poster that they can hang around the place. So we were taught the practical aspects. It's only later when you get to in sixth form, you got Broodhagen, who will then really teach you about you know, a lot of theoretical stuff. But the beginnings were applied art. Applied art. When I was doing industrial arts, we are in there learning how to make, you know, medallions and things that you can hang around your neck and things that you can sell. And then you learned more challenging aspects, but you learned the practical aspects.
Yes.
That's not done generally. So the recommendation that we had was twofold. One, teach the practical aspects so that people can leave school with some knowledge that they can actually apply. Applied mathematics, applied physics, applied chemistry, applied science, conversational languages. You can go and start doing some basic interpretation, conversational languages, music by ear, so that you can start taking that musical instrument and start playing and accompanying people and get good at it. I remember in music, we didn't have that kind of teacher. So they taught us every good boy deserves food. Up to now, I don't know what that means. And I play the keyboard. I accompany myself. I accompany others. When they're doing things in the community, I go and play the keyboard there for them in the ministry. I teach playing the keyboard by ear. I can teach anyone to play the keyboard by ear in about 15 minutes. And if you look on, even though you've never touched the keyboard before in your life,
yes,
if you're watching as I'm teaching, you learn it in 3 minutes. So there are ways to teach people. So that's the first part of it. And the second part is the way that we teach in our schools is that we teach to the person who understands the material first. So you have a classroom of 30 or whatever students, and those 20% who happen to get the information understood earliest or earlier than the others, before the others, the teacher teaches at that level. And they set the exams to that level. And don't worry about the others. And that's the colonial system, when there were only a few positions in the civil service, and therefore you had to identify the dullards and identify the bright sparks. You want the dullards, so all right, well, you're not going too far. You go and work with your hands, you work in the fields, but the bright sparks, you're going to work in the civil service. To my shock and surprise, when my son was going to primary school, he brought home a book called Bright Sparks. They're not even hiding it. So you're teaching for the bright sparks. You're teaching for those who understand the material earliest. And I, for decades, I was against that. And I was saying, listen, no, teach to the lowest person. And if you teach to the lowest person, you're going to teach to everybody.
Yes.
Because the bright people get it, and the person at the bottom. I went to commerce school, and I was not that bright when I went in. I had a difficulty trying to understand and remember the information. And eventually I got a handle on understanding it, but remembering it was always a challenge. And it was that way until I hit fourth form. But in third form, a lot of people dropped out. My parents would not let me drop out. They would hear none of it. I had to go to school. So I went to school and tried my best, and I went there to play football. And it's only when I hit fourth form and I came to know the Lord, and if you associate then with the one who has all knowledge, you can only benefit. And I then began to both understand and remember the work, and I started to do better. I've been writing about improving the educational system for decades. And then what I did when I started Walbrent College in 2010, I teach the way that I wanted to be taught when I was a Commonwealth. And I teach then to the lowest person, the person that is having difficulty understanding it. I'm teaching to that level.
Yes.
And therefore, if I teach to that level, that person should understand it and show to everyone else in the class. And therefore, our exams, the minimum pass mark is 100%. Because I know you know it because I taught you. I know you understand everything about that subject because I taught you it. I didn't teach the bright persons. I didn't teach to the bright spark level, and therefore you may fall through the cracks. I went down into the cracks and I found you, I pulled you out, and I taught you. And everybody else benefited. And therefore everybody should understand it because I taught you, the person that I was having trouble understanding it. And it works. because the majority of the class gets 100%.
Yes. So,
And again, yeah,
Miss
so here,
let me just go ahead. I don't finish your thought, and then I'm going to say something. My apologies.
right. So I have proven it. We've been in business now for 14 years. I've proven it with students across the Caribbean. I know it works. So if you train both of those things with one last thing, which is how to make money, teach people how to make money in school. Let's say in third form, every student should start a business. I'm the 2014 winner of the National Innovation Competition, and since they never held one after that, I'm the current winner of the National Innovation Competition. And what I have done since I won is I teach people how to start money with no capital.
Mm-hmm.
So the worst thing you can have if you're going to start a business is access to money or money itself. You're going to lose every cent. That's the first law of business.
Yes.
You always lose the initial investment, learning what not to do. So I teach people how to start business. And it doesn't matter what the business is. And I tried then with the government. I said, look, I don't mind. Put me on CBC. I'm not going to talk about politics. Let me just show people how to make money. No, can't do that there. I tried with the newspapers. So what I do anyway is there are groups at churches or whatever, and I do it there. I do it in prisons, and I do what I can. I went to the SIDS conference in May. The Small Island Development States, the UN SIDS conference, and I met people from around the world. And the people of Barbados, unfortunately, have chosen suffering for themselves, their families, their neighbors, and the rest of Barbados. They've chosen suffering 3 times, even though they had prosperity right before them. And we said, we're offering you prosperity. They prefer suffering for themselves and their neighbors. So I'm engaged in now other countries. The good thing there is that they don't feel threatened because I'm not going to run in any politics, and therefore they'll benefit. For some reason, Barbadians don't want to benefit. They just want to vote for sufferation because they want to vote for their party, who has demonstrated that they don't have a solution to make people independently wealthy. No solution for that. But they talk about enfranchisement, economic enfranchisement. They talk about that. But what's the plan? What is your plan to make this person? I have a child. 5 years old now. Not me, but I mean someone. They have a 5-year-old child. What is your plan? What is your plan, BLP? What is your plan, DLP? Yes, you want to complain all the time and criticize all the time. But what's your plan to get them wealthy? Right? What's your plan that they are earning money by the time they are 16 and 17? What's your plan? No plan, right? But all the nice things, economic enfranchisement. Yes, we want, what's it? We want reparations now. That's the plan. The plan is let's get reparations and give out some money. That's the plan. That's not a sustainable plan. Plus the money, you're not going to see the money that will go to the governments or the University of West Indies. It's not going to go trickling down to anybody. So that's not the plan. So what we should be asking as an electorate, what we should be asking as citizens of Barbados, to everyone who wants to offer themselves and put up their hand and says, look, and say, I want to represent your interest. Fine. What's your plan for my children? How are they going to benefit? How are they going to prosper independently? But we don't want that, because I'm convinced now that it is intentional to keep Barbadians living hand to mouth poverty. Because if they ever became independently wealthy, they would look around and say, well, why are you doing this? You know, why are we paying all this VAT and land tax? Why are we paying this? You know, why this project does not cost 100 million. It only costs 20 million. Where's the other 80 million? But we don't want that. We don't want that. So the people, unfortunately, have voted 3 times to stand in long lines and to suffer and to remain in a hand-to-mouth poverty. For whatever reason, they've done that. So you do what you can. As I said, before I'm out of the elected politics, I'm still leader of the party. I will do what I can helping whoever. But the people have made their choice 3 times. They are just wedded to B's and D's. They
Okay.
just can't let that go. They just
So
can't let
hold
that
this,
go.
so hold a minute, Mr. Thing, because we now have about 3 minutes in this
Okay,
segment. So where you're saying that education, you're putting forward this as a solution
that's the
to
solution.
the numbers of young men that are being killed in the streets. That if we change our education policy and strategy, that you believe that people we're going to see there's this desire to be independently wealthy, and we'll create a path for our young people to be independently wealthy. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because they see no other option than to join the gang. They need money. Where's the money? In the gangs. That's the option for them. We have forced them into that. We have forced them into that. I deal with them in the prison. I volunteer in the prison. So
Mhm.
I know it, and I help them when they come out, and I try to
Yes.
keep them on the straight and narrow. We do what we can, but they are forced into this system, and we could turn off the tap, right? Because we are flooding the place out. Someone needs to go and turn off the tap. And we tried
Mhm.
in solutions to say, look, give us the authority to turn off the tap, and let's get people so they don't have the option then, or the option of going to the gangs is not really there. When I tell them, look, you can make like $1,500 in just drawing some plans, they say, what? You know, you got $500 to want to kill somebody. You can buy $1,500 and doing it legally. There
Mhm.
are options for them, but we have to teach them, but not the way that we are currently teaching them at secondary school. It's a disaster, but we won't change it. So that's why I said I believe now is intentional. After writing about it and talking about it, running a political party and canvassing about it, so all this time, and then it has to be intentional.
Mhm.
It has to be intentional. Otherwise, I'm willing to listen to any other option, any other explanation. But I believe it's just intentional.
Mhm, mhm. Well, this is quite interesting. What you're saying about the education system we're getting. School is going to start back on September 16th, and we are basically doing the same thing that we've done all these
Yeah.
years. We're
Yes.
doing it the same way again. Well, Mr. Grenville Phillips, we always have these wonderful conversations when you come on, a little different from what everybody else is saying, but I think it's important that we have these conversations, and I hope that you will not be a stranger. I know I will
No.
keep
No.
knocking on that door for you
Okay.
to come on, and let us ventilate this some more, probably with Rose Corbin on, who deals a lot with education, that we can look into this, because I too am looking for solutions. I know that the DLP, they just had they had a forum where they are looking at solutions as well. So the citizens are looking for solutions, political parties are looking for solutions, and if we come together and not make it political, I believe that we are enough here in Barbados, Mr. Phillips. We are enough. We know we can solve the problem. I really believe we can solve the problem. I
Yes.
really think so. What's
Yes.
your final thoughts before we close the
Yes.
segment?
We can solve the problem, but these two parties have managed this for decades, and they're
But I,
not
I
solving
thought
it.
you said it's not political. So let's
Yeah, it's
let's
not. No, but
let's leave
no,
the
but I must
party
say
out.
though
You
that
can
they.
say it's not political.
Yes. Yeah. No. What? No. This is political because that's since they wouldn't listen. That's why Solutions Barbados was formed, because they weren't listening. They continue to do the same thing that's giving them the same results. So the only way to do it is to do it yourself. That's why. So we try to do it ourselves, but then the people said, "No, we want it like this. We
Yes.
want the gangs. We want the murders. We want it." We said, "You don't need to have that. They want it." So that's what the people have chosen. Unfortunately,
Wow.
right?
Somebody is
That's
asking a
unfortunate.
question here. Let's see if you can answer this before you go.
Of
They're
course,
asking,
of course.
why is it so difficult for Bajans to get remote jobs outside of Barbados? Just real quickly, because that's not the topic, but
It's
she's asking the question.
Yeah, that you just need qualifications that are recognized outside of Barbados. That's it. Just get qualifications that are recognized. And that's one of our plans as well. So if you have qualifications that others recognize, then you can go to that market. If you only have qualifications that Barbadians recognize, then you're limited to the Barbados market. But you don't even need that. You could get a business, go on the internet and start selling things anywhere around the world. But what you must take advantage of is the double taxation agreements that we have signed. So let your marketplace be in those areas where we have double taxation agreements.
Yes.
Then you prosper. Right.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I happen to, I believe that it's going to take all of us, all the political parties, not just one, which is why I have you on here tonight, because I
Yes.
do know that they, in fairness, the DLP, they have had a forum last night, packed, and they are hearing from the people, and they're also coming up with solutions. You have
Yes.
solutions as well. There are citizens that have come up with solutions right here on this show, on the Marcia Week show. We've created a program called the Elevated Program, which is for those who are school leavers, because we recognize that that's where we have the challenge, a part of where we have the challenge. So I believe each of us, Mr. Phillips, have a
Yes.
piece of the solution. And
Right.
what we need to do is to not make it political, that we can come together and really solve this threat to our very existence in Barbados. It's not a
Yes.
joke.
No,
And
but
so
we've had
and that's
this.
why I invited you on.
Yes, but you must understand. I'm 60 this year. We've had this every 10 years or so. We keep having this. We keep talking. We keep having these town halls. We keep doing it. And yet, as we said, it's intentional. That's the only explanation. So yes, you're going to have these things. People are going to come and say, yeah, this is the solution. That's the solution. Nothing will be based on all the previous experience. Nothing will come of it. And if it is that they go and vote these ones back in, nothing will happen again. We had this. Remember, they keep changing all the time. Nothing happens. So right now, I'm very pessimistic about it. That's why my suggestion to you is anyone that's coming on, anyone that wants to give a solution, tell them, show me in detail how a 5-year-old is going to prosper and be making money at 16 and 17 and be independently wealthy at 25. Show me.
Yeah.
Show
Yeah,
me.
that's a good
Right?
question
Otherwise,
to
enough
ask
of this
everybody.
talk.
Yeah.
Yes. Enough of the talk. Right? Show me. And actually, what we should do is, and I recommended this as well, get a set of, the prison now wants to have people mentoring. Go and take 10 of them. Go and take 10 of them. And in a year, go and examine them. You have 10. The BLP, go and take 10 of them. DLP, go and take 10. Solutions, you take 10. UPP, you take 10. Everybody, take 10. And then after a year, let's examine them. That's the best way, right? And I said that's what we should do, and nobody wants to do it. Or
Interesting.
go and take them after secondary school. They come out after secondary school, the ones that have graduated with no certificates, none, 0 certificates. Take 10 boys, 10 girls, each party, or not just party, every agency, every community group that wants to say, or I need some government support, whatever, to do something. Fine, take 10. 5 girls, 5 boys. None of them should have been you're not in any sports. They're not in any sports. So we know that they have a low self-esteem. That's what you're taking. People low self-esteem, and go and let them
But
mentor them.
Let me
Mentor
just
them.
say something to you, Granville, Mr. Phillips. That is a brilliant idea, because then you're going to know if what you're doing is working. But I want to ask you something. I want to ask you something, Mr. Phillips. And it's, I really need to go, because I promised my
Yes, I
people
understand.
that they're going
Sorry.
to call in. But
Yes,
I wanted you to go away thinking about this. This idea that you have here. Why don't you and Solutions Barbados implement it? You see what I mean? It's a great idea about asking different agencies to take. Why don't you build up this idea from scratch? Moving from an idea stage into reality, and then, because I think it's a great idea, but why? Yeah.
That's what I do. That's what the college does. Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Oh, sorry. I'm not sure why this. I'm not sure if you can see me, but maybe
I
you
can see
can.
you. You're stuck, but
Okay,
I'm
good.
hearing you. But go ahead, because
Right. So
I
I've been
need to
I've been
go because
I've
people
been
got
doing
to
this thing
call
since 2010. I do this thing. The fellas in the prisons, I help them. When they come out, I help them. In the college, we help them. I do this thing since I won the 2014 National Innovation Competition. I teach people how to start businesses, and they start them. Right. So this thing is. So I do it. So I'm saying, let's all do it now. If you want to say, well, who's working? Get a fresh set, and let's all do it. So I have done it.
Yes.
Yes.
So what I think I was taking a little further, and I'm saying now, if you've done it in Solutions Barbados and it has worked, I'm
For-
saying to you, why can't you, seeing that it's not a political, we can't make this a political issue. Why can't it be, rolled out into the nation where you go to different agencies and say to them, okay, we're organizing this particular thing that has worked in Solutions Barbados. Here it is. Go to the churches. You take the 10 persons. Another agency take another 10. Another, you understand? So build out. If it's a program that has worked, why can't it build out to be a national program where different agencies are involved? You see what I mean? Okay, I think we've lost him, but I just want to, if he's hearing, if you can hear me, just to say thank for being on tonight. You could tell that this conversation has not ended. We are a little behind on time because we had some issues at the beginning of the program with sound, and this is why we've gone over into the 9 o'clock hour. So while I was on, nobody could hear what I was saying. We were having a sound issue, and I was working alone. So sorry about that. So thank you so much, Mr. Phillips, for joining us here tonight and for what it is that you have to offer. As I said, this is a space of the opposition, and all those political parties or any individual who has something to say. You don't like what is happening, you have something to say, you have a solution, you have something to say. This is a platform that you can do it from. It is not no one particular party. The only reason you don't see them on from the other political parties because it's difficult to get them on. They don't answer. I would love for them to be on. Lynette, I would love for her to be on all the time. She just doesn't come, and it's difficult. I tried my best to get Mr. Phillips on, and I'm thankful that he came on tonight. But it's not easy. But you get accused of all these different things. But it is. I do try to get a variety of voices on the program. Well, this is the time to call in. 246-236-7000. 246-236-7000. Feel free to call in at this time. Let me make sure that I'm properly charged up. Oh my goodness. Okay, I see a call coming in right now. This is a time we're going to chat about the cybercrime bill and what has occurred with it. And I'm seeing a caller calling in at this time. Please to call. Make sure your device is turned down. Okay. So we have a caller calling in at this time. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, sir, and welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Yes, all the best to you. What I would want to say is this: not too long or anything like that, but in law, as legal luminaries would say, all law has something called the spirit of the law.
Yes.
The reason where I'm going with this is laws written in England may be different to those in Russia. Those written in Barbados may be different to those in Uzbekistan.
Mm-hmm.
So where I'm going with this is that when you start to see laws that mirror from a spiritual point of view as it relates to, it goes beyond just the mere words,
Mm-hmm.
but how the effect of them or the spirit of the law mirrors either democracy or dictatorship, that is all you need. You see, a lot of people try to make law seem like it's this big intellectual affair. I mean, it is, because it takes mental aptitude to be sound, but it is not beyond average people to understand if you simplify it. So where I'm going with this as it relates to the cybercrime bill is that where people may think that the changing of a few words would, like the amazing Manfred on Sesame Street, would just make it not feel on the ground, because law is not only, or justice is not only justice when it is said to be done, but it's also when it is felt to be done on the ground. So the apparent curbing, I mean, they may try to say that it's not curbing, or it's not altogether, hear the words altogether curbing. But what is, when you read it, when you see the vagueness, or not necessarily only the vagueness, but the broadness, because there's difference between vague and broad, and because law that is too broad, anybody would know that when law is too broad, it gives a lot of clout to the governing body at the time to say, well, okay, well, I mean it so, but I didn't mean it like that. Well, in this case, well, this one I would mean it like that, but I'm not. So it gives a lot of leverage, I should say, to behind the scenes meddling, right? So that's just a little tickle as it relates to the cybercrime bill, and I think what people are not really able to discern at this time, right? And this could be opened up to legal luminaries to discuss. Legal luminaries can discuss this and be more precise than a gnat. Hear the words, a gnat in outer space.
So hold a minute.
Right,
You
so
started off, sir, by talking about the spirit of the law. And though they might change a few words, because they went in and they did change some of the words. We're talking right now about the cybercrime bill. Okay? We're talking about the cybercrime bill, that they went in and they changed some of the words, so you don't have the words at insulting. It's not in there anymore. Embarrassing, those words are not in there anymore. But you're saying that the spirit of the law is still draconian. Is that what you're saying?
Of course, because okay, let's start this semantics and jumping around the bush. Who's to say that who is to determine what X or Y high official deem as offensive to them? Or who's to say, I mean, look, some people live in a multicultural environment. Some people live in an environment where there's only predominantly one culture. And when you're living in a multicultural environment, who's to say that statements that, who determines what statements would be offensive? And,
right.
So I am just surprised that people who were probably 30 plus years in government and have unthinkably wealthy allies and powerful allies can allow Barbadians to be, how should I say, narrowed down or summed down to the whim and fancy of like powerful dictators. Barbados has, even under England, the law, as much as people may say and speak of the ills or certain mistakes that that happened in the past.
Yes.
At least England was sure, because you could say, well, okay, we know that X and Y was the case and it was very clear, but we are going from clarity of the law now to like a mockumentary. I would have to say a mockumentary of clarity, which leans heavily in the area of dictatorship, because dictatorship really gives a centralization of power that is very how should I say it? You dare not oppose it. There's no way that you can oppose it. And whether it's a whisper, whether you whisper and do it, or you shout and do it, whether you do it on a telephone or a computer, or you do it in the mail, you do it in the newspaper, you just don't have the expressive freedom, that is not heavily policed to the point where you don't even know what really is clearly as being offensive.
Yeah.
Offensive always comes my way or
not your way, right? So you're saying the whole thing is it's still broad, and you know, they've moved it from 7 years, the cybercrime bill, to 10 years. You could get up to 10 years in jail, from $70,000 to $100,000, and so the caller is saying the spirit of this law is one that is draconian and is coming from an authoritarian rule, is what he's saying, from a dictatorship. That is the spirit of the law. Thank you so very much, caller, for calling. Thank you.
All the best. All the best.
Yes, thank you. Folks, we are this caller was speaking about the cybercrime bill, and we saw today where they have revised the bill, and the bill is now going to be debated in the Senate. And at the moment, what they have done is that they have moved it. They've totally just ignored what we've been saying, which is the spirit of the whole thing. So they went and they changed a few of the words in the law, right? There are people telling me that they're not accessing the show. Anybody having trouble getting the show? People are saying they're not accessing the show. Wonder why. Anyway, so I want to hear, what are your thoughts about this? There's just some of the comments that we're getting. That's coming in. People said this is terribly. Effectively, the Joint Select Committee on the Cybercrime Bill has agreed that it will reduce freedom of expression, but said it is okay. They have even increased the penalties from a fine of $70,000 to 7 years in jail, or both, to a fine of $100,000 or 10 years in jail, or both. This is dreadful. It would be another nail in the coffin for democracy in Barbados. What are your thoughts on this? Do you know what has happened with the cybercrime bill? There is a revision of the cybercrime bill, and instead of them saying you will get 7 years in jail, they said it's 10 years. Instead of them saying that you will have to pay $70,000 if you are for the fine, you're now going to pay $100,000, right? Someone says this is an absolute insult and ignoring of the concerns of the citizens. They went into those proceedings with the decision already made that the bill would not be changed materially except to reinforce the penalties. And this is what they did with the Child Protection Bill. They did this kind of review, the parliamentary committee, they did all of that, but essentially they passed the bill that they wanted to pass. This is a mere motley government. This is the same thing that happened in the Barbados Labour Party in that election. This prime minister is dictatorial and goes ahead and does what she wants to do. The concerns in the report by the Barbados Bar Association regarding the severe penalties to be imposed by magistrates have been disrespected by substantially increasing the said penalties from 70,000 to 100,000, from 7 years to 10 years. This is a gross disrespect and lack of care for the people, and especially for our youth. Section 19 still includes criminal defamation, despite concerns expressed by the Barbados Bar Association and by Niall Harper that criminal defamation is outdated and has been removed as a crime by international bodies. The replacing of subjective and vague wording such as annoyance with the term without authority serves just as another pretext to abuse general terms and wording as they please to criminalize citizens. This is atrocious and represents blatant disrespect of the citizens' concerns. My phone should be ringing off the hook. 1-246-236-7000. Are you happy with what this parliamentary committee has done? Are you happy? Emerson Bob said the bill is spiteful. Can you come on, Emerson Bob, 236-7000, and tell us, why do you think that the bill is spiteful? And Cheryl Wharton, I agree with you. This is what we should be all focused on this. Yes, so we understand that square four. The question is, so what are we going to do now? There's a call. Let's hear this caller. Caller, good night, and please turn down your any device or turn off the device that you might be listening to. But welcome to the Marcia Week Show. Good night. Good night, sir. Go right ahead.
Yes, good night. My name is Tony.
Hi, Taroni. Good to have you again tonight.
Yeah, all the time, all the time.
Yes.
I don't know, afraid or something. So, but my main concern and the troubling thing about this bill, right? And the disturbing thing about this bill, why is it then so aggressive of pushing this bill? It ain't got nothing of benefiting or helping the poor people. That's one. Why they want to criminalize the poor people? Because this bill is only for the poor people. This is not for the MPs and the wealthy people. So basically, why they want to destroy Barbados with this bill?
You think that they're going to destroy Barbados with the bill? Can you speak up a little louder? They said you're a bit low.
Yeah, I want to know why they want to destroy Barbados with this bill. They never consulted for the poor people if that's what they want or that's what they need. You know what I'm saying? Poor people, they got more important things like the gun-related crimes, the sufferation which going to lack of warning like food, and you know, like cost of living in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that this bill is so important or so urgent that they pushing on this bill all the time? But this bill is a smart way to silence the poor people that they can't voice the opinion of what affected them. That's one. Two, and this is supposed to protect the BLP and Myanmar. 2 and 3, this is supposed to empower the more wealthy people.
Yes.
So basically, you know, right? Don't care if so you find the BLP, the NDP, DLP, whatever part you on. This bill is supposed to criminate all poor people and destroy Barbados society.
Yeah. And what do you think? How do you think the citizens of Barbados should react to this bill?
I believe that everybody should come out and protest against this here. Come to the marches on Saturday. And also, even if they're going to go in front, they're going to the government house and going to the parliament and make a stance on what they do not agree with. They just are too frightened.
So you want people to voice their opinion about this bill because it's going to be debated in the Senate, and the Senate does with those two gentlemen, they will need just numerically alone. I mean, they need the voice of the people on the outside because they are not going to be able to do it by themselves.
Exactly. I was one that I would really love to come out and have Senate with this bill because I will really going to show a voice and show my support to Ralph Torn and the rest of senators in the Senate so that this bill cannot be pushed forward.
Yes, so you want to give your support. But thank you so much for calling. I appreciate you calling, and you always show that boldness to call. Thank you, sir.
Okay, God bless and positivity to the whole of Barbados.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. When we lose our fare, they lose their power. When we lose our fare, they lose their power. And all that is happening now, you know, they need this bill to be enforced before elections. I am convinced about that. And this caller made a very important point. There are so many issues that we have. For example, when you think about the price of petrol, right? They could go in and they could change, they could remove some taxes, they could remove some duties, they could do so many things for us. What about the petrol tax? Why don't they sit down and figure out how to move that? They're going to come with a bill to lock up people. 10 years in jail, $100,000. I agree with the caller. What is so important about this bill for this particular government when people are suffering? Why don't you use your time to sit down and come up with ideas of how your citizens can eat, can drive in their cars, how they can come up with bus fare, how to lower the fare? How you don't come up with these ideas to us, but you're going to sit down and spend all this time on a bill figuring out how to lock us up and to have us pay all this money, $100,000. Anybody calling? Who else is calling? Listen, I'm clear this time for you all, you know. This bill, is it that, do we think this bill, do you think over 1,000 viewers on tonight, do you really think the bill affects you? Or you think that, oh, they're just making a fuss about it? Do you really think that this bill is nothing? You said, don't worry about it, you know. Okay, there's a caller. Good night, caller. Thanks for calling the Marcia Week Show. I'm going to kindly ask you that if you are listening to a device, that you actually turn the device down so that we can hear clearly what you have to say. Thank you so much. And please speak up. Thank you. Go right ahead. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. You're live. Okay. Yes. Can you repeat that? Yeah, we had some challenges there. Not your fault. Could you just repeat what you said earlier?
I said I haven't had a chance to look at the new proposed bill, but based on what you have said, it seems as if they're really.
Well, let me just clarify the bill. Nobody has seen the bill yet. What they have said is that the changes that they've made, and one of the changes is that they have removed some of the words. So words like insulting and embarrassing and so on, those words have been removed from the bill, but they have increased the fine to 100,000 if you're found guilty, and the number of years from 7 years to 10 years.
So what's the difference between this Cybercrime bill and the Integrity in Public Life bill?
What do you mean?
Why don't we get the same urgency to get the Integrity in Public Life bill passed as we are having with this Cybercrime bill?
Well, from what I understand is that the Integrity bill has been passed. It's just not proclaimed. And once it's not proclaimed, then it's not in effect. So the question is, but I understand the question you're asking. Why don't you proclaim that bill? Why don't you work hard to get that bill proclaimed? And why are you asking that question, caller?
Because we need to one hold our ministers, our politicians to a higher level than what they're operating under right now. And two, when they're not in government, this is something that they have pushed so that others can live up to a particular standard that they themselves are not living up to.
Mm-hmm.
If they live up to the standard, it is easier for the rest of us to follow. But they think they have the cart before the horse. They're asking the people to do the right thing, live by a high standard, or be fined, or be in prison, while we will live as we please. That's in the wrong way. I also wanted to say that the government / our Prime Minister has started the football matches with a price of $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
And this was her response to gun violence.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, we almost had a bloodbath last weekend. Had not the police intercepted those young men, only God knows what would have happened. So I just wanted to send a message to the government as a member of the opposition that they need to revise their focus and approach to gun violence. Because this $100,000 would only serve to put more money in their hands to buy more powerful weapons.
So you're saying that they could be vying for this money, as they did, as it's alleged that in the peace program, the allegation is that they used some of the money that they received to strengthen and to expand their their criminal activities. And you're thinking that this $100,000 could be used whether to expand their drug trade or to buy weapons. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. And they're not looking at any other approaches other than putting money in the person's hands without even giving them a sense of responsibility. Right? And I think it needs a better approach than what they're presently doing. I don't want to go with innuendos, but they are known to associate with the criminal elements, some of them. And that is one way, that a person can easily think that they have devised that plan to put more money in their hands so that they can spend it on criminal activity.
Wow.
They haven't convinced me as yet.
Wow. Let me ask you, caller. Are you going to be out with the march with the on Saturday at the Solemn walk? You're talking here about crime and violence, and do you think that you're going to make it out to the Solemn walk?
I might be the first person there, amongst the first persons there.
And why is that?
Because a message needs to be sent to those in authority that the people are tired of this gun violence, and they have a measure of power within their hands to do something about it, but they're not.
You think that they're not? Well, caller, I just want to thank you for calling, and you made some very, very important points there. Especially why haven't they proclaimed the that integrity bill? Why isn't it so important? It's been there. Why is it not proclaimed as yet? Those are the things, and I tell you, I think that Barbadian scholar need to ask them about that, and they need to know that they need to go from here with that cybercrime bill. We need to take a firm stance about it.
Increasing the penalties for what has not yet happened. And as you have said, and which I agree, they want to do it before election time because they don't want us to do with them what they did with the DLP.
Okay. So they want.
But they're banking on the wrong thing. The people are waking up and their eyes are opening. Right is right and wrong is wrong. I think we need to be fair and to judge fairly and see that they are not doing the type of job that they said that they will do.
Yes.
They're not.
Yes. Thank you so very much. Thank you for your comment. There's another caller. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. I'm going to ask you kindly to turn down your device that you are listening to so that we can hear your comment or your question. Thank you so much for calling. Once again, guys, the number is, let's make sure the number is up on the screen that you can call in. We're talking about the cybercrime bill, the crime and violence, whatever it is that we might have discussed tonight, probably something Kimar said, just call in. All right. Thank you so much, caller. Good night. You're live. Good night, caller. You're live.
Am I on?
Yes, you're on. You're on, sir. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. Thank you for calling.
Pleasant day to you, Marcia, and the lawyer opposition.
Yes, sir.
But I am totally disappointed how the government is actually going to vote.
Can you speak up a little louder? Can you hear him, guys?
I say I'm totally disappointed in how the government is actually going to vote its business. I would believe that if you need a cybercrime bill, you should deal with the Freedom of Information Act first.
Explain. What is the Freedom of Information Act for those who don't know?
Right. Okay. I believe that it allows you to get the truth of information that exists within government and businesses and Barbados. Thereby, it allows you to speak directly to things that value, so that you have to be guessing or even commenting on what people say. At least you speak. When you speak, or when you have to say something, you speak of something that is truthful. And if you do the Freedom of Information Act first, I think should be the horse before the carrot. You have the carrot before the horse. Basically, you are dealing with cybercrime, but I fundamentally feel that is wrong.
You feel that should be in place before this?
By far. We shall already have a Freedom of Information bill a long time before cybercrime bill. That should be dealt with first. I honestly say so.
Yes, I see.
I don't understand why we are choosing to do things in Barbados this way. It seems as though there seems to be something sinister going on. I don't think that is right.
But what do you think? What do you think is happening in Barbados? You have lived here all of your life?
All of my life.
And you sound like a young one.
Not that young. But I have been around a long time, Marcia.
Yes.
And I have seen quite a bit happening within Barbados. But I have never seen it reach this stage of development where we are trying to do things to criminalize people. When you can first give people valuable information first before you decide to criminalize them.
Yes.
And the Freedom of Information bill do exactly that.
Right. What do you think Barbadians need to do about this cybercrime bill? If you have been here living all these years in Barbados, you love your country. What action you think the citizens of Barbados should take concerning this cybercrime bill?
Well, me personally, it will not affect me much because I'm not very much technology savvy.
Yes.
But I can't always think about myself. I have to think about other people as well, children and grandchildren, So this thing is very important for all Barbadians alike.
And so what do you suggest that Barbadians do?
I would love to see Barbadians come together for once and support you, Marcia. And marching against the cybercrime. Honestly, I would like to see it actually removed. But we need Barbadians to come out and support you, Marcia, or support the opposition
whichever case it may be. But we need to have something done about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you let me just say, you said to support me, but it's not really me.
No, not
It's
necessarily you.
it's not me. It's
Right,
all of
right.
us.
All of us.
Yeah,
But
because
something definitely needs to be done about it.
yes, yes, yes. Well, thank you so much, caller. Are you going to be coming to the Solemn Walk on Saturday at 10 o'clock?
Well, if things work out well, I'm making that effort. Right now, I'm making that effort.
You
So
should.
if it
We
works,
would love
then
to
yes,
see you. We would love to see you there because all of this is us speaking out, and making our voices heard.
I'm making that effort. So it should work out. Maybe I should be there on Saturday.
Should be there on Saturday. Thank you so very much for calling. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Folks, as he said, he made an important point there, right? He made an important point saying that he, as an adult, it might not bother him so much, right? But it might affect his grandchildren and his children, and that's what we have been saying on here. Dr. Ferdinand, everybody have been saying that, right? Everybody has been saying that. There we have another caller on the line. Caller, thank you for calling, and I'm going to ask you to turn your device down so that we can hear your wonderful contribution. All right, guys, we have 10 more minutes, and we're asking you to call and to give your thoughts on the changes in the cybercrime bill that is calling for more jail time, more penalties under the revised cybercrime bill. 10 years in jail or $100,000 or both. Okay. All right. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. Okay, can't hear you. Let's see. No, that's my fault. Go right ahead.
Good night. This is Judy Jones. Can you hear me now?
Yes, hearing you loud and clear. I love your voice is loud and clear. Good to have you on, ma'am.
Thank you. What I have to say about this cybercrime bill, that $10,000,
$100,000. 100,000.
Yeah, and 10 years. That strictly is for the poor people. Where the poor people is going to get that money from? That is not for the rich.
Mm.
And another thing too, I need mayor alone, a mayor to make us have the election. I'm sick and tired of this party.
So you really want an election? Why you want this election so quickly?
I need Mr. Tom, my prime minister, to run this country. He is a gentleman that sent here from God, a well and an outspoken person, and a godly man. We need people like that in this Barbados to bring it back to a proper society, not from a dictatorship. I got this place corrupted. This in Barbados. You could have go outside up to 1 o'clock for the night. Nobody ain't want to shoot at you nor nothing. You can't even go at your door because you don't know who passing that gonna drive by and kill you. I don't like this Barbados right now. I love my old time Barbados when the Democratic Labour Party was in, because you could have walked out as you like, do as you like, go at the sea, and come home when you feel like from the sea for the night. This is a frightening Barbados right now.
And I can hear the fear in your voice. Are you going to be coming to the Solemn Walk on Saturday at 10 o'clock? We're going to be starting right there at Kensington, and walking to Independence Square. Are you going to be there, Judy?
Marcia, you know that I can be there, and I can be up to the front behind the truck.
Are you going to be wearing white?
My white hat, my white shirt, my white shoes, and a blue skirt.
She's already worked out what she's wearing.
I don't have them pick out and put there to hang up. That all I gotta do is get up, have some breakfast, and through the door.
And why is it so important, you think, that we turn up for that march? Because here we're talking about freedom of speech, freedom of expression. We're seeing that they're seeking to limit that through the cybercrime bill. Why is it important for Barbadians to come out on Saturday morning?
And those little fellas that is getting gunned down, some of them, I am a mother. I have 2 sons also. And that is hurtful to see and hear constantly every day somebody's son is being shot.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I'm a mother and it hurts me.
Yes, yes.
A grandmother also.
Mm-hmm.
This needs to stop. That's what I just told you, that you could go out and see after 1 o'clock. You could be out at you gap and stand up and nobody do you anything. But you can't do that right now. You can't even look through your window. Cause you look through your window, sometimes some people wanna we're looking at them for.
Right. Right. Mm.
We need love, we need unity, and mothers, grandmothers, everybody in the village help raise your child. That is how it was in times back.
Yes.
A village help raise the children.
Yes.
We need that back.
Yes. Somebody's here saying, Timmy's here saying that they agree with you. They're not enjoying this Barbados right now. Yeah, I agree. It's not an enjoyable place to live at all at this particular time. Thank you so much, caller, for calling, and I look forward to seeing you at Saturday at 10 o'clock at the Solemn Walk.
Sure,
Thank you.
Will see me there. You will see me, darling.
All right. Thank you so much. God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yes, it is sad. It is sad. I know, VR, you're in the diaspora, but it is sad. It is a sad thing, and I know that I know everybody's facing a hard time, whether you voted BLP or whatever you vote. The truth is that a lot of people are feeling at that time. Okay, let's hear from another caller. And you know what is so sad about this? While we are here dealing with all of this crime and so on. The PM is going to support a Trinidadian artist at the Apollo in New York, Marshall Montana, where she just paid him $250,000. It's like that wasn't enough. She's gone to support a Trini artist at the Apollo, is where the Prime Minister is at. But anyway, hi Paul. Good evening. I see that it's you.
A blessed good evening to you, Marcia, and the fellow citizens. Marcia, I am looking at this thing. I would not call this a revision at all. This is the only artist could be is retaliation. Because when you're going to put the number 3 attached to the ears, and then 3 attached to the cause. This could only be retaliation, and to me, it's all because the citizens dare to challenge this cybercrime. So it's like saying you challenge us. Well, take this. I see that as retaliation.
So you're thinking because the citizens challenged it, they moved it from 7 years to 10 years, and from 70,000 to 100,000. Interesting. So this is the government is retaliating.
Yes, and it's sending a message. Whenever I say something, don't question it. That is what it's saying.
Wow, that is interesting. Yeah. As somebody says here, yeah, that is something else, because one would, I mean, it's so strange that we could be saying that the bill is draconian. You need to change certain things about it, and then they come back and add on number of years. It's almost like a slap in our face. And what do you think? How do you think Barbadians should react to this bill? Those who are just joining, the cybercrime bill is now revised, and they're offering us the revision is more jail time and more penalties. So we are paying, we're literally paying $30,000 more. It was $70,000 if you are found guilty. It's now $100,000, and instead of 7 years, it's now 10 years. That's what this government that cares about us has done. So, caller, what should be the response of the people of Barbados to this cybercrime bill?
If you have agreed that certain things needed changing in the bill, then the cost should be changed, should be lowered, and the jail time should be lowered, not increase. I think what we need to do is to decrease our excess.
Decrease your excess is what, and I agree with that. Decrease your excess, because they increase the fine. They increase the fine, decrease the excess. Don't give them our excess.
Exactly.
Yes, that's what Fabian is saying here. Fabian is saying vote them out. Vote them out. How many of you believe we need to vote them out? Vote them out in the thing, because they come on here and they listen to us. Yeah? They come on and they listen to us. We had young people who went into Parliament, Paul, to present, and they did not care about that.
Yeah. It's an insult.
It's an insult. It's an insult. If you believe we need to vote them out, just keep writing vote them out write it in the chat. Let's defy them tonight. They're watching, and let them know. Let them go ahead and call the elections. Go ahead and call the elections. And they're planning, Paul, I believe that they're planning, Paul, to call the elections very soon, which is why they are doing this bill. So to shut us up.
Well, if they can openly disrespect us this kind of way, we have the power to show them that we mean business.
I wonder if Dave can show all of these comments to me. Dave, if he's, show the comments to me, Dave. Find all of them and put them up. I dare you to write vote them out. If you're serious about this, I dare you to write vote them out. Some of you are even so scared, Paul. Some of the people are so scared to write vote them out. I'm telling you.
Well, I am not so much concerned about the people not being scared to write vote them out. I think that the ones who are scared are not going to vote for them. They're going to show them that I might be scared, but I'm not voting.
Don't vote for them. This cannot happen again. And this is why I say to people, Barbadians, thank you so much, caller, for calling. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
Oh, yes. Just this one note. This jail time and fine is not only for the supporters of the BLP, It's not only for the supporters of the BLP. This is also for the BLP supporters. So I hope that we get it right. This is for the citizens of Barbados that this cybercrime bill is for. Not some person who's in the party or not. This is for the citizens. So let's get that right.
Yes. We want them out. Paul, are you going to come to the Solemn walk to show your solidarity and to bring awareness to the gun violence in Barbados?
God willing.
Yes, and bring somebody with you. Remember to wear white.
Yes, please.
Yes.
I don't have a white pants, so
you can wear a white shirt.
Yeah.
Vote them out. Let them go. Go ahead and pass this bill. Go ahead and pass the bill. Okay? That's what Paul is saying. Thank you so much, Paul, for joining and for calling. Yes. Let them go ahead. Go ahead and pass it. Barbadians need to tell them, go ahead and pass it. You think you're bad? Go pass the bill. Pass the cybercrime bill that is set to victimize and marginalize the people in Barbados. Go and do it. I dare you. I dare you in the Senate. Go ahead and do it. It's at the Senate level now. There are 21 of them in there. 21 of them in there. And I'm sure that's a number that I revised. 21 of them in there. Go ahead and pass it. Go and pass it. Keep writing, voting them out. Keep writing it, people. Keep writing it. Come on. Lose your fear. Lose your fear. Write it. Write it. I dare you. We need to have a march that name Vote Them Out March. We need to have a, after we've done this, we need to have a march. Get serious about it. This is a Vote Them Out March. That's what it needs to be. We need to breathe. Vote them out. You hear what I tell you? Vote them out. This is authoritarian and we dare them. We dare you, Senate. Senate, we dare every single one of you. Go and you pass that bill. You pass that bill, you have lost the election in this country. The election that you want to think, you are going to lose it. When you had that committee, Mr. Thorne was on the committee, and also Senator Walters was there. Right? The other senator was not there. She was not on that committee. But they would be outnumbered. But all we have to let them know, is send a clear message. Pass the cybercrime bill and we vote them out. The following week, that is our march. That's the name of the march. The name of the march after this Saturday is pass the cybercrime bill and we vote you out. That is what is our march. What you all think about that? Huh? Zaire, what you all think about that? Listen, I'm so glad for Paul to call in, Paul. Listen, we're talking about serious thing tonight. It is a hate crime bill. They are wicked. The same way how she orchestrated the vote in Christchurch South. Yeah, and how she fixed it. Oh, that was fixed to get her girl in. It's the same thing they're doing with this bill to fix. This is part of them winning the election. This is the win your election bill. The cybercrime bill is a win the election bill. Vote them out. Yeah, vote them out. When we coming for a vote out, tell them, go ahead and pass that. You vote. You pass it. You pass it. All of you here that here to take messages. We have over 1,000 people on here, and look at the chat. Look at the chat. And I said something a little wrong earlier when they were. I said 143 votes that they had. I'll take this last call. 143, and I said that the population there, not the population, but the constituency is 8,000 people. But really and truly, it would not be all 8,000 that would need to vote. So I need to clarify that, and I will do that in the next show. But it would be those who are paid up members of the party. Okay, but 143 is still very small. Okay, but let's hear this caller. Or last caller. Go ahead, please turn on your devices. Thank you. Good night. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. Your device is still on. Yes, could you turn off your device? Okay. Yes, go ahead. Yes, sir.
I lower the television.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Can you hear?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Yes, go right ahead. Speak up.
I think that it is distasteful. I think it's very distasteful that the government should. Right. Yes, I'm saying that I think it is very distasteful to the government in the face of people wanting to look to rethink this cybercrime bill to combat and then want to raise the prices to raise the penalties and the time.
Yes. I agree with you. Yes, go ahead.
The Barbary Party has always defeated itself. Yeah? Because history has shown that whenever in the second term, they always look for excessive power. And this has always been their demise.
And so you're saying on that accord that they need to that this is a very wicked act. You're still listening to your TV. That's the problem.
Yeah, this is their exit. This is their exit. We need to let them know that. Okay, yeah. We need to let them know that it is time. I'm going to learn that it is time to go now. I think that they are showing no regard for the people in this country at all. And this is really a sad affair. I must say this. Only last week, Thursday, I was at a shop and a vehicle came down slowly and looked into the shop. And next thing I know, they were beating up a young fella. I saw a big stone was thrown and hit that guy in his head. It was almost another murder in St. Joseph. And everybody just scampering. The young guy managed to get up. I don't know how comes he wasn't stunned, but he ran in the shop and shut the doors of the shop. A shop that he doesn't even know anything about. The white guy was so scared. And these two fellas just get up, like if it was a good Sunday morning, go back into their car and just drive away like that. Everybody scamper like cats. This is Barbados that you can't even sit down and have a drink and talk anymore. And we're scared. Everybody's scared now to go out and lime because they're fear of what can happen when you go there. Is this the Barbados that we voted for, that this party took up?
Yes.
Barbados has become a very fearful place.
Yes.
Everybody's scared.
Yes.
And this is in St. Joseph. This is in St. Joseph, This is in Parks Road, St. Joseph, last week, Thursday. And it is happening all over Barbados. All over Barbados. People are scared. People getting shot. I know young guys who got shot just playing dominoes in town.
Wow.
And all of this is happening. And instead of dealing with these matters, they're looking to lock up everybody.
To lock up, right? That's a crime that is happening there. They're easy on the crime. We're going to talk about that next show. They are easy on that crime, right? They're easy on it. This is what they're easy on that. But now, for people talking and sharing their views, they're going to lock you up for that. And I recall in 2013, they went up to Bussa. I keep a whole big set of noise with it. So they will bring the Freedom of Information Act, freedom of, and none of that is happening. But soon enough, but just the Brady gag order now, because this is a gag order. Yes.
This is a gag order. You must not say anything at all in Barbados. Otherwise, you hurt people's feelings and they lock you up.
Yes.
I don't know what's going on.
Listen, we know what is going on. Owen Arthur told us what is going on. Let me ask you: are you going to come to the Solemn walk on Saturday?
I will be there.
Yes, sir. And wear something white as you're coming. Bring somebody with you. If you're from the church, tell somebody to come. It's not that particular march is not a political march. That is about our national threat. Yeah, go ahead.
This is a march for Barbados, for the future of Barbados.
Yes.
For the future of my grandchildren, for the future of my family.
Yes.
I've never known Barbados to be like this.
Yes.
So I will be there.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for calling, and please say hello to me when you come. You made such good points, please. Right? Yeah.
There's so much to say.
Yes.
A lot of people just want to say things, but when you go there, they hit you on your shoulder and saying, Marcia, let me say this. So many people watch this show. So many people watch this show. They may not they may not turn on the the device that you could see. This is, and I think that may be the reason why they're raising the prices, the way they're raising the
Yes,
because the penalties, because it is, the Barbadians are living again. They're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel.
well, I tell you, she will have to shelf.
Anyway,
Yeah, she will have to shelf this one, because if it passes, that's it. That's it. Well, thank you so much, caller, for calling. Appreciate it.
oh, thank you.
And see you. See you on Saturday. Yes, God bless. Bye bye, folks. It's 10:14, but we got all heated up here in the end. Yeah, we got. Oh my lordy! Somebody calling back. I think it's a mistake. Good night. I'm going to take this other call. I think everybody getting all excited now. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Hello, good night, Marcia, and viewers.
Yes, sir. Good night. Thanks for calling. Can you speak up a little bit?
Yes, I'll try to. Listen, I want to say, right? What's going on is disgusting. I mean, the corruption has poisoned the air in this country. In every facet of life, it has poisoned the air. And then we wonder why crime is what it is. You're staying home in your house. The law got it that if somebody back in your house to kill you and your family, you could still be charged for protecting yourself and your family. The government don't want to release any Freedom of Information Act, right? We're supposed to be a progressive country, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were voting it because they gave certain assurances. Integrity, pass the integrity bill. Yes, to deceive people to get the vote, right? I know they're turning around and they're abusing citizens of this country. They are abusing it. That's what they are doing. It is nothing but they don't like the people of this country. They don't like the people of this country. It is nothing but pure abuse, right? They know that the people have the ammunition. It's been corroborated, right? For the campaign trail. And they're trying to muzzle the people from being able to speak about the issues and bring the facts.
Yes.
Right?
So there, you believe that this is muzzling after, I mean, all the things that we have to deal with in Barbados, and they're making this a priority.
It's disgusting. They're poisoned. They don't see what they're doing. They're living in their bubble.
Yeah. And are you one of those that say if they pass this bill, if the Senate passes this bill, that we're going to vote them out?
But they should have been voted out already. Forget even putting this aside, for all the money, unaccounted money, no reporting to the people. They've abused the people any which way. They have abused the people up, right, left. They've abused the people. No respect. This only compounded it more. This proves that they have no respect for the people out here. None. That's my last thing on this.
Yes. Thank you, caller, for calling. Are we going to see you on Saturday as we do the we do that solemn walk for these young men?
I can't make any promises, but I'm not going to say yes and I'm not going to say no.
Mm-hmm. But you're going to try.
I'll try.
I would love to see you there. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right.
Yes. I need to do a show again to talk to you about what has happened even to the Christian community that sometimes feel like they mustn't get involved in these things. What has happened in other countries and how the cybercrime bill has been used to silence the church in other countries. We don't even understand this. And, sometimes people think we just want to make trouble. We're just trying to make it safe for everybody. Yeah. Everything is going wrong, but the only thing you want to go right and to do it quickly is to shut up the people within your country. You need to leave from about here, right? You need to left from about here. according to you all. That's my vision. All right, folks, we went out. We went past the time. But the fire was coming tonight. The fire was coming tonight, and the people are ready. Right? The people are ready to get these out. Yeah, they're using the cybercrime bill to fix the next election, like what they did, and telling us that they care. Let us play that song they're pretending. Let us play pretending. Dave is gonna play pretending. We have to stop the calls now, so that you can go to bed, and we're gonna see you again on Wednesday. Yeah. We're going to see you again on Wednesday. Dave, let's have the pretending song.
That mass nor English. Pretending to be good. I pretending to be good. Just pretending to be good. I pretending to be good. I just pretending to care about people. 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 Pretending. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. I'm pretending to be good. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people.
Promise us a better tomorrow. Tell me that it's suffering done. Me attack the vote and let me down. Me attack the vote and let me down. She did only want little dealing, big contracts and not corruption. Me attack the vote and let me down. Me attack the vote and let me down. Barbados is too small for me. My pocket full now, you and job they promise me. And a girl like me want power and more money. You cry transparency, but that's a no for me. Promise us a better tomorrow. Tell me that it's suffering done. Me attack the vote and let me down. Me attack the vote and let me down. She did only want little dealing, big contracts and not corruption. Me attack the vote and let me down. Me attack the vote and let me down.
All right, Barbados, God bless you. We see you again on Wednesday. Use your social media. Send the message out. Hashtag vote them out. Hashtag cybercrime bill. That's it. Hashtag vote them out. Hashtag cybercrime bill. Hashtag vote them out. Hashtag cybercrime bill. That's what we're doing. All of us. That's what we're doing. Put that on all of your social media pages. Hashtag vote them out. Hashtag cybercrime bill. Yes? All right. God bless. Bye-bye. Vote them out. Hashtag vote them out.